Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profit. I have with me Kai from BitTube, one of the team at BitTube, and Michael, one of the team from Veruscoin, and they're going to be talking to each other about their respective projects. So this is a really great opportunity for the BitTube community to discover Veruscoin and for the Veruscoin community to discover BitTube. Now, before I continue, I want to let you know this is not investment advice and all that stuff. Please subscribe, comment. Comments are currency for me, and please upvote and share this all over your social media, and do follow me on Twitter, which is cryptorichYT, which seems a bit outdated now given that I'm posting mostly on BitTube. That's where you'll find me.
Tired of just playing for fun? Make a living just by playing your favorite games. You can make anywhere from 1% to 1,000% return depending on the difficulty of the game. Play, win, earn. Bet VERS.
All right, here we go. So let's start with you, Kai. Do you want to very briefly introduce yourself? And then I'm going to ask you, Michael, to introduce yourself and then introduce your projects after that.
Yes, hi, cryptorich. I'm Kai. I'm the CFO from the BitTube project, working since the start with BitTube. Probably most of the people know we did this project without an ICO and without pre-mining, started from the scratch. So building up an airtime model to monetize the internet and building up a video platform for sharing videos and earning crypto coins on the internet with this platform.
Yes, and a censorship-resistant video platform.
Correct, yes.
Very good. Now, Kai, can you hold your camera still somehow? Or not swinging your chair?
That's fine.
That's better, because you were a bit, I was getting a bit seasick. It's like you might be on a boat on the rather than on Okay, Michael, over to you, please.
Hi, my name is Mike Toutonghi, and I'm the lead developer for Veruscoin, the community project. We also, it's nice to hear that BitTube had no ICO, no pre-mine. We did the same in our launch, and our goal is to realize public blockchains as a service and make it possible for people to actually improve society, improve a lot of things, leveraging blockchain technology. We have sapling zero-knowledge proofs. We have 50% proof of stake, 50% proof of work. We 51% hash attack resistant algorithm. And most recently, we've actually solved a number of problems, but most recently we've released VERUS ID, which is a fully self-sovereign identity for the blockchain that gives you a friendly name address and is also the first fully self-sovereign blockchain identity that if you lose your keys, you don't necessarily lose your money because it's fully revocable and recoverable. So in fact, there was someone who had a number of IDs, a number of you might say, really nice, friendly name IDs that they bought from the blockchain. All the proceeds going to miners and other ID referrals. And they got hacked. Just recently, they actually got hacked. Their computers got hacked. And people were able to take their private keys. So I just found out about this yesterday. I don't know if they're going to go talking about it, but they were able to take their private keys. So they actually did revoke and recover their identities and got all their identities back, and no one was able to take their identities. So that's that actually happened. You know, the technology's only been on mainnet since last December, and we know that you know, if you lose your keys, you can recover. We of course know that recovery and revocation works, but it's interesting. Someone actually got hacked and was able to use revocation and recovery to get their identity. And I don't know if they got all of their funds back or if someone was able to spend before they got their IDs back or not.
Yes, that is incredible. Let me just say something about the organization. So, bit of each one, and we'll come to the detail of each project in a bit. So, BitTube is funded by other companies. The CEO, Saber Maram, he has some other companies. He uses funding from there to keep BitTube going. So there's no raise. They're not asking people for money. Veruscoin is a community, is a decentralized community organization, self-funded by voluntary contributions and by the miners and the stakers, of which I am a miner and a staker because I stake and mine on a CPU as powerfully as you can do on a GPU or FPGA, which is very, very interesting and very, very completely consistent with the spirit of decentralization. So I've got another map going where I'm staking my Veruscoin to keep getting more Veruscoin. And BitTube has a coin tube, which is a fork of Monero, a crypto.
Right.
It's a crypto note coin. Very good. Okay. So let me start with you, Kai. Kai, is there anything else you want to say about Tube or anything you want to ask Michael about Veruscoin so you can begin to understand it?
Yeah, maybe we are looking on this ID thing from Veruscoin. Might be interesting to implement into the Tube system.
Okay.
Yeah, so we should definitely get the right, like I could talk to someone on your team about how to do that. It should be quite easy to make it possible for people who have a VERUS ID to use that VERUS ID to log in. I don't think that would be hard at all, quite secure. And it would be, so I think let's just get the connection going after this discussion and we can talk about how that would work.
Sure. I can connect you guys by Discord. And the VERUS IDs were, instead of having like a really, really long series of characters, like a public address, my VERUS ID is cryptorich at. And then I can have a very simple recoverable ID that I haven't created as yet, which might be cryptorich2 at, or some other name, my child's name. And then I can have a revocable and a recoverable identity, which I keep secure elsewhere, but it's really easy to.
They could be the same. You could just have one backup identity that is both revoke and recover, or it's designed to be very easy to use to start with. So it kind of defaults to, a single address controls a single friendly name, and the recovery and revocation are pointed to itself. But you can then make it multi-sig. You can add recoverability. You can add revocation, and so one step to make just a backup is to have an ID that does both recovery and revocation.
Yes. And then no one else can have cryptorich at on the Verus blockchain as an ID, because that's Mike has reserved that for me, right? So you, for example, Kai, you could have Kai at, and that's.
I don't know if Kai's available, but yeah. but in any case, if Kai is available, you could get Kai. Let me see if it's available since this video will come out. If it's available, you could get Kai, but whether it is or not, you can prove with cryptography. You can prove a strong identity. So the name is nice. It's a handle. It's nice. It's it's like an email address. But the actual proof of your identity can go beyond whatever the name is that you end up with. Let me just really quickly check.
Yeah. And
Kai.
And it's completely secure, encrypted, and people can send you Veruscoin to.
Okay, so Kai is not taken, and if you the choice would be to wait until the end here, and I'll grab it after, and I'll save it for you, Kai, or I could take a little detour right now and do it. I would suggest maybe waiting until the end.
That's really no problem. I never use that as a shortcode. So.
Right. I mean, you don't have to have that. So if you want a different name, or just let me know.
Yes. Now, the thing that I don't understand is and I know you said it to me before, but I want you to say it here again, Michael. How can the VERUS IDs be used as a login for BitTube applications when BitTube runs on normal internet code and the Tube coin is on CryptoNote?
Yeah, so the way it works, the way that VERUS ID works is you don't actually, you don't really need to have the same blockchain to log. Basically, login is somewhat independent from other functions in the sense that you do need to be able to read the blockchain and get the data and find out, what the public addresses are for that identity. But in order to log in, what would happen is it's pretty simple. Basically, BitTube would create a little login challenge that would include the time of day, that would include the expected username, and maybe some information about BitTube that they wanted to hold for their login. They would give that to the user, and then the user would basically sign. This is all of course, happens in software. The user would sign that message that BitTube gave them with the private keys that are behind the controlling addresses of that identity.
Right, and that all goes on.
What's that?
It all goes on in the back end. So
that happens behind the scene. Like, so BitTube would basically provide the challenge the way it provides any kind of a login challenge. The user's computer would sign on behalf of that identity and give BitTube that challenge back. And then BitTube would validate. There's a verification API. It would basically validate, was that message, first, is it the message that I wanted it to be? And second, is that message signed by the user that I expected to sign it? And that's really as simple as, there's nothing else to it, because that can't be forged. So if it's signed by that user through that process, then that's a legitimate, cryptographically proven login.
Yep. And then the other thing about the VERUS IDs is that it can also be encrypted with KYC information that the ID holder controls. So I could, with my ID, give so much permission to different applications about what they get to know about me. So I own my data.
The IDs enable you to prove data that you can not disclose unless you choose to do so.
Yep. Okay, Kai, what else?
Yeah, as far as I understood this is mainly like other social logins, an implementation into the system which verifies the user. So
the way of implementing it would be quite similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So should be not the biggest deal for the technical people to implement it, and might be quite interesting to talk about this the next days to see how we can start on things like this.
Yes.
Probably there are other things where we can connect. As you know, we'll offer these BitTube TV video platform, and there might be also things for the community to join onto this together.
Yeah, sounds good. Right now, I think the community has a decentralized community-based outreach effort, and some of the people are starting to get more and more into creating videos for, as we come out with all of these new capabilities. Like the IDs are kind of a big deal, but we have another, this public blockchains as a service on its way. And we even have some, like I know there's one person in the community who's an Emmy Award winning, video producer. So yeah, I think that'd be actually potentially very interesting. I'd be happy to talk to the people at BitTube and see where there might be places, for synergy. The other thing that I think is pretty interesting, well, why don't we let you kind of drive things, Kai, a little bit on the BitTube side? And because one of the things that I'd like to get to at some point is this new technology that enables bridging and conversion across different currencies, because I suspect something like that might actually be quite interesting to BitTube.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to discuss these things and to see where the connections are and where we can connect things like this.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything you want to let people know about? Because it's not just the three of us here, right? But you want to let us know about BitTube, or you want to ask Michael about BitTube?
Yeah, probably the people know a lot about BitTube from the last interviews.
Well, half of them will. Hopefully, this is going to pull in Veruscoin people as well.
They probably don't know yet. You're right. Let me ask what he likes to know about BitTube.
Well, so I mentioned that actually I had I was CEO for a company that was Visria and then Web5s, and then Microsoft bought it. It was a social network. and we had a video sharing platform that worked on mobile and that worked on web and on PC. And I guess, you know, one question would be, so if I upload a video to BitTube, where is it stored, and what kinds of different devices are supported? Like, what kinds of video do you do a lot of conversion to basically every different format for all the major devices? And then where do you store the videos? Are they stored in the interplanetary file system, or do you run large storage servers? Maybe that's a set of questions.
They are not anymore stored in the IPFS system. We changed that.
Oh, but, you did start with the IPFS system?
Yes, yes.
And what was the problem with that? Was it that the pinning the objects, or what was the issue with that?
I cannot tell completely what are the problems there, because that was more from the technical side. But the decision was done on several issues that we had, and to get the system quicker, to get it more comfortable for the users. And it's still decentralized, but the system is completely different.
Okay, and what is it that where are the videos stored? On servers or some other thing?
No, they are decentralized stored, so they are not completely stored on our systems.
Okay. So it's something. Is it safe to say that it's maybe similar to IPFS in its decentralized approach, but it's something that is a little bit of a hybrid, maybe?
Yeah, might be correct. At least this is more the technical side. And
yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Well, so and then if I am a content producer, payment typically comes from crypto, not as much advertising, right?
There's no advertising in the moment at all. The payment comes only from the usage. We do have a special system, the airtime system for this, where we check how many minutes the users are online, and based on this, the distribution of the tubes going to the producers and also to the visitors.
Okay, and then another thing that's really interesting. So we talked about the VERUS ID kind of potential for login, whether it's VERUS ID or another type of identity technology. I was involved in, I was technical fellow for the advertising platform at Microsoft, and I was involved before being involved in helping to start the VERUS project. I was working with companies that were kind of working to try and blend blockchain and advertising. And one thing that I learned through that process is that